Lauren Moses here with WNBA expert Maggie Hendricks of Bally Sports. We'll be bringing you all of the stats, the storylines, and players to watch out for this highly anticipated 2023 WNBA season. This is Bally Sports in the Paint. Maggie, let's take a look at Indiana Fever. They went 5-31 last season, missed the postseason, obviously. So there's a lot of things that they're going to be going into this 2023 season with things that they just want to change. And some of that started with their head coach. They brought in Christy Sides, a new head coach there. She's from Atlanta Dream, and she seems like a breath of fresh air when I look at their social media clips.
I mean, so I got to talk to her when she was in Chicago, and her energy and her attention to detail are just two things that like really, really jump out at me. And just the vibe around Indiana, I really don't have another word for it, but the vibe around Indiana this season is so removed from the vibe around them last season. Yeah. It just, even if the wins don't come, there's just a breath of fresh air. There are just things that are changing and it's coming.
Yeah, and they also they traded for Christy Wallace, who was also in Atlanta. They got a whole Atlanta crew now in Indy.
Everybody drove up.
Along with Maya Caldwell and Erica Wheeler. Erica Wheeler is a vet. She herself is a ball of energy. So that signing I was really excited about because I think Indiana needs that. They're going to have some young players. They knew they were going to be high in that draft lottery. And so bringing in a vet who can also motivate these young players was really good for them. What did you see from their signing this offseason?
Yeah, I mean, Erica Wheeler is a fantastic one because she is so well respected in the league. And the players all absolutely know her and love her. And when she's on the bench, she's not on the bench. She's not sitting. She's probably going to get fined at some point this season because she just is always cheering him on, explaining things to the rookies, explaining things like, this is what you need to see. This is what you need to look. She's almost like an extra coach on Christy's side staff.
Yeah. And then youth. Rookies got the number one pick of the draft in Aliyah Boston of South Carolina. They also get Grace Berger, Taylor Mikesell, Victoria Saxon. I believe, was it Taylor Mikesell who was let go already or waived?
Destiny Henderson was waived earlier, and there was somebody else who I've already forgotten, but it wasn't Taylor Mikesell. She's still, as of right now, when you guys see these videos, though, the cuts are happening quickly. So there might be changes by the time we get to
it. But one that we can say confidently is Aliyah Boston, who you just saw on your screens, the number one pick of the draft in the preseason already. We've heard from coach, we've heard from players that she is a professional. It didn't take long. It took a few weeks for her to turn into one of the best players in college women's basketball or college basketball period to being a top player in the W. Maggie, when you look at her and you see what Christy Side is, how she's using her, what are you looking forward to this season?
I mean, she just is so strong in the paint already. And that's something you see, right? When you see that transition, you see a lot of even players who are big and strong in the paint are not expecting the size and the speed of the WNBA. And that's just not true for Aliyah Boston. She was in the preseason game. I saw her. She was holding her own with Elizabeth Williams from the Sky, who is a very big, strong center. She looked very comfortable. There were a couple times when she was like, it was more like understanding the scheme, but it wasn't that she wasn't physically there. And we know that Dawn Staley prepares her players, and that Aliyah Boston was ready, and it showed so quickly.
Yeah. And I can say Elizabeth Williams is a big body. I played against her while she was at Duke and I was at Virginia, and you do not want to catch an elbow from her. Next up is their most important player. Now, we struggled with trying to figure out who to put, this pressure on, who to put this responsibility on. Because when you look at a team that was 5-31, you think there's a lot of people who have to step up to the plate. I'm thinking Kelsey Mitchell. I'm thinking, do I want to put it on a rookie in Aliyah Boston? What are your thoughts on who needs to take on this responsibility?
Well, I would actually say Kelsey Mitchell, and for this reason, because Christy Sides has talked about how we know what Kelsey can do on the court. She can score really well. She can get down on defense. We know what she can do on the court. But what Christy Sides is challenging her to do is be more of a leader off the court. When you come to do your workouts, don't come along. Call somebody and bring them with you. And Kelsey said, that's a struggle for me. That's not easy for me. Mm-hmm. And that particular thing of how she can push herself to be a leader for this team, I think it's going to say a lot about how far they go.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that'll be something that we'll have to look out for, is on top of the energy that we talked about at the top of this video. How long will this new vibe, will this fresh breath of fresh air last in Indiana? Obviously, their season's coming up very soon. And so they're going to get tested, and to me, it's going to be about how they respond to those tests. They have winners on this roster. How will they really step up to the plate when it's needed in Indiana is going to be what I'm looking for. Maggie, what are you looking for?
Well, when I talked to Lynn Dunn, she was talking about how the roster is full of babies, and they gotta crawl before they walk, before they run. And so, how much time do they have to do all that, and how ready are they? I think that's the really big thing. So we'll find that out pretty quickly. This season isn't really merciful when it comes to timing.
Yes, yes. Well, we'll be keeping an eye on all of those things and keeping you all updated with Indiana Fever this season. Make sure you tune into Bally Sports on all platforms.